mental health is something that we don't talk about enough. In the black community, well, we're massively overrepresented in the mental health institutions, even more so than in the prisons. And again, these are questions we have to ask. Well, why?
But once you get a control and an understanding of who you are, no one can use you against you. No one can ever use your mental illness against you. You've already spoke about it, so what you got?
The biggest point in life to resolve mental health is like giving a fuck about a person.
Where did you get the courage? I got the courage. The 2 words. I care.
It's Chill Will Radio, where connections will be made, advice will be given, jokes will be told, and things will get real. My name is Willis Cooks, and I'm your host. But understand this show is not meant to be used as a substitute for a relationship with a licensed mental health professional. Enjoy the show, y'all. Yo. What's the deal? What's poppin'? What's going on, everyone? All those folks listening, man, this is kind of loud. Let me turn this down a bit. Oh, that's the wrong dial. I'm turning down the wrong dial. Wondering why it's not going down. Anyway, what's going on, peoples? Hope everybody's doing good, man. This Sunday evening, June 18th, 2020. Goddamn. July is when? When is July, Didier? Wednesday. Rent is doing a Wednesday, people. Pay rent. But anyway, I hope everyone's doing swell. Hope everyone's doing good. Welcome everyone to Chill World Radio, man. Episode 85 episodes in. God damn, that's a lot. That's a lot. But anyway, thank you for all those individuals who are listening in. If you listen in today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, whenever you're going to listen in, tune in. Good looking. Shouts out to you, man. What's going on with me? I wasn't here last week. I pre-recorded the show last week. Last week I was in Arizona. I didn't know Arizona was that damn hot. Like, I knew Arizona was hot, but that's like hot. Like, that shit was a different type of heat. Man, but yeah, I was in Arizona last week. I had to go out there for skydiving course for my license, for my skydiving license. But back here this week has been fine. This week has been good. This week has been relatively busy for some odd reason. Busy. One of the things that I've been focusing on this week, and I've been telling this to Didier before the show, and the other day we talked, just writing a whole lot more things down. I've been focusing on that the past few weeks, probably like the past month, writing as much things down as possible, specifically when it comes to budgeting, specifically when it comes to that. Am I financially sound? I would say yeah, but it's just one thing that I always want to kind of put in check, and I think we should always kind of check ourselves, right? Always kind of find ourselves what area we need to improve at. Even if you feel like you got it in check, you never really got it in check. There's always something that you can grow at. There's always an area in which you can grow in. So even if you feel like you got it, you probably don't. Or if you probably do, you probably could improve. Because we want to look at how we could tweak our system a tad bit, how we could change things up a tad bit. And my specific system, my budgeting system, and my financial system, I had to give it a tweak. And that's the same with you, whether it be your finances, whether it be your life, whether it be your goals, whether it be your job, whether it be your routine. Give it a little tweak, right? Switch it up a bit. Add one small thing to it. Don't change it drastically unless it's all the way bad. You don't need a complete overhaul of it but give it a little tweak, right? Figure out in what area in which I don't want to say improve it, but make it a tad bit more efficient, right? What area could you make it a tad bit more efficient? Because everything could improve in some way, in some shape or form. So start asking yourself, in what ways could you make your life a little bit more efficient? Because a lot of us are busy and we're not productive. And I think that's one thing that I always try to make sure I am big at. If I am going to be busy, I'm going to be as productive as possible. I'm going to make sure the things that I am doing, the things that I am busy at will benefit me in some type of way. right? They're going to give me something in return. I'm not just going to be busy for the sake of being busy, because I like to tell people, like, man, I be busy. I don't even got time for all of that. I'm not trying to live this fake busy life. Like, we got a lot of people out here who live these fake busy lives to impress people, to make it seem like they are doing more than what they actually are. And when it's like, nah, we trying to be busy, but we're also trying to be efficient. We're trying to be productive. If we're busy, we're busy. Okay, cool. But we're trying to be efficient. We're trying to be productive. And figure out what you could do to kind of tweak that so you could be a little bit more efficient. Because you don't want to be the person that's just out here running around doing things for the sake of doing it. You wasting time. You're spending 3 hours here and 4 hours there. And next thing you know, 8 hours of your day is just doing nothing. 3 hours of your day is scrolling on Instagram. Figure out in what ways you can tweak your system a tad bit. That way you can be a little bit more efficient within your day. And that's just something that I've been focusing on this week, this past month. In what ways could I be a little bit more efficient? Same with you. In what ways could you be a little bit more efficient within your day? And we'll be surprised to notice that there are small, very, very small things that we could do. Very, very small things that you could do. If you always struggle with being late to work, okay, cool. You're going to set your phone on the other side of the room. If you notice yourself rushing all the time with what you're doing in the morning, you're going to wake up a tad bit earlier. If you notice if you like to kind of get to work and just sit down before you walk into work instead of parking and then going right into work, you're going to get to work a little bit earlier. Right? You're going to think a little bit more. You're going to breathe before you respond to a text. You're going to read a text and put it down and not immediately respond, because sometimes that immediate response is sometimes the worst response. Right? You're going to put it down, look at it later, and then come back to it. Figure out in what ways you can make your life a little bit more efficient. Sometimes you may need to go left instead of going right. Sometimes that system that you have may not be flawed, but it can improve in some type of way. All right. So just like I've been doing, figuring out what you could do to be a little bit more efficient within your day, within your system, within your routine, whatever it is, right? Because we not trying to be busy for the sake of being busy. Like, you're not getting shit done. Like, you don't want to be that person to just impress people, to say like, hey, well, I'm busy. I ain't got time for nothing. Nah, we not trying to fake the funk out here. Like, that's not what it is. All right. So moving on forward into the self-care piece, right? This is something that I have been doing consistently this week and for the past 2 weeks. Because I don't want to say everything is starting to open back up, because Dieter just informed me that I guess LA just closed down the bars, which is okay. But but my gym opened back up, right? One of the things that I've been making sure I do this week, for the past 2 weeks, in order to assist myself with my stress and make sure I kind of get things under wraps a little bit more, is to just not rush my workout, right? So I hope everybody is working out, whether it be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, however long you're able to work out, get active, get up and move. However, the one thing I want you to be able to do within your workout, don't rush it. Take your time with it. Right? So that way within your workout, you can make sure you're doing the best that you can within that workout. Right? Don't go in that workout and try to half-ass it, because if you just go in that workout and half-ass it, you're not getting much from it. You're trying to get as much things out of that workout as much as possible. Whether it be your running, your lifting weights, your fighting, whatever the case may be, right? Within your workout, don't rush it. Take your time. If you want to sit there, if you want to rest an extra 30 seconds, if you want to rest an extra minute, that's fine. If you want to take your time instead of repping the weights all hella fast just to get to the 10, just to get to the number. On one end, you're not really doing much if you just racing to get to the number. But on the other end, see how that stuff feels, right? Focus on that rep. Focus on how your muscles contract, right? Focus on the eccentric motion of it, right? Focus on that burning sensation that you're going to get. Focus on that pain. Focus and analyze and see how strong you are within this specific area. Figure out what areas are your weak spot, right? Focus on those things. Figure out where you could improve at. Whatever you do, just don't rush your workout. That's just the same with anything in life. With anything in life, if we have a number and if we're doing everything just to get to that number, when we get to that number, we're not going to feel accomplished. We're not going to feel as if we hit a specific goal. We're not going to feel rewarded, and we're not going to get anything out of it on the back end. We're going to get that number, we're going to get to that number, and then we're just going to be done. You're going to get to that goal in your life, and then you're just going to be done. If my goal is to get, I don't know, if my goal is to, I don't know, get 1,000 followers on Instagram, I guess. That's a petty goal. But if my goal is to get 1,000, I don't know why that goes the first goal to pop in my head. But if my goal was something like that, I get to that 1,000 followers, I'll do whatever I need to do, get to it. And then once I get to it, it's like, I'm done. What's that thing that MB talk about? Something about process. Trust the process. Trust the process. Take your time. Trust the process. And involve yourself in the process. See how much energy it takes you to get to something. Because a lot of the times it's not about the quantity. It's never about the quantity. It's never about the amount of things that you're able to do. It's about how you're able to do that thing. How are you able to lift those weights? How are you able to talk to that person? How are you able to accomplish those goals? How are you able to move within your life when bullshit is going on? How are you able to do these things? That's what it's about. The quality does not matter. If I got 2 people within my life, but the quality of those 2 people is magnificent, bet, I got you. But if I got 30 people in my life and I got 30 people who ain't shit and 30 people who doing a bunch of BS and 30 people who are not motivated, who are not ambitious, who are not doing anything to inspire me in any type of way, I'm just following along with those 30 people. So when you're going to the gym, when you're moving throughout your life, when you're doing anything, don't rush it. Don't rush your workout. Take your time. Take your motherfucking time, because that workout isn't going anywhere. That workout is something that you're going to do. That workout is for you to work on yourself. Don't rush working on yourself, because you're not going to get good overnight. Just like you didn't get bad overnight. There may have been bad things that happened, but you're not going to get good overnight. You're not going to get bad overnight. If you feel as if you are a bad person right now, that is nothing more than a culmination of bad things that you have done within your life. Same thing with you being a good person. It is nothing more but a culmination of good things that you have done within your life. The same path that you get to being a bad person is the exact same path you get to being a good person. You do 10 bad things, oh, now you ain't shit. You do 10 good things, oh, now you the shit. Right? Take your time. Go down that path. Do one thing at a time. And you don't want to rush the process when it comes to you. When it comes to working out on you. When it comes to you being you. You don't rush it. All right? So the self-care piece I want everyone to implement within your self-care regimen. Don't rush your workout, big homie. Do not rush your workout. So, moving on forward into the main topic, right? The thing that, and Didier understand me when I say this, but the thing that has been aggravating me and kind of have been testing my patience a lot this week, last week, for a minute now, is how people have allowed themselves to not let other people just live their life, right? And what I mean by that is I'm not the type of person that walk around wearing the mask all the time, right? That's not me. I don't walk around wearing the mask all the time. And because of that, I hear certain remarks, right? I see certain things. I see how certain people move, whether it be at work, whether it be out of public, and I see how other people are allowing either my actions or the actions of others to affect them, to dictate their mood, to disrupt their day. One of the things I want everyone to listen, and one of the things that I want to make sure I speak about here on this episode, is the importance of just letting people live. Letting people do what the fuck they want to do without allowing their behaviors to affect your mood. letting people live their life and letting people do what the hell they want to do without their behaviors affecting your own mood, affecting your own actions, affecting your mindset and your anger and where you're at. Because there are people right now who are getting extremely angry. There are relationships who are being broken. There are people who are getting pissed off because I'm not walking around with the mask. And not just me specifically, but just in people in general. Because someone isn't walking around with the mask, you're going to allow your own personal mood to go down the drain. Because someone else's behavior doesn't align with your own beliefs, you're going to allow that person's behavior to dictate where you're at. Let's not allow, we got to get out of the mindset. We got to get out of the mindset and the ability and how much we allow another person's behavior to dictate our mood. How much energy we give to that person. How much control we are allowing that person to have onto our lives. Because that's what's happening. We're allowing that person to have control over my life. Because we're trying to put so much onto that person. We're trying to impose our values onto that person. We're trying to impose our beliefs onto that person. We're trying to you got to do this specific way. And it goes further than just people out here wearing masks. It goes into anything else, whether it be belief systems, your own specific values, how you live your life, your opinions. We impose our own personal beliefs onto the next person so much to where if they do not do what we want them to do, or we believe that they should do because we believe that it is good for them, we feel disrespected. We feel disrespected. We feel as if we are not being heard. We feel as if we are not being validated. It is my responsibility to make sure you are dope. It is my responsibility to make sure you are the shit. A lot of times when people do that, they are looking for validation. They are looking for acceptance, but they are also running away from their own personal beliefs about themselves. When many people are putting their own opinions onto other people and are trying to force other people to change and to change their mindset or do all these things, they are putting so much energy on you that they're trying to take the energy away from them. They are trying to get out of the work that they need to do for themselves. Let's look at that. Let's look at how much energy I'm put on the next man. Let's look at how much energy we put on that person to try to behave a certain way or to try to do a specific thing or try to act a certain way. How much are you doing that? I believe a lot of people are doing that way more than they think. Without understanding, without realizing that, your perspective is irrelevant when it comes to them. Your perspective is irrelevant to them. The way you view things is irrelevant to them. The way you believe life should go is irrelevant to them. Your perspective on life doesn't mean shit to me. But I'm so focused, or you're so focused on putting everything onto the next person that we forget about us. We forget about how we should live our lives. We forget about how far we should go. We forget about our goals and work and our families at home and everything, and we start to create negative relationships with people. People don't want to come around you because you so worried about I need to change this person. I need to make sure this person does this a certain way. And sometimes we are doing it without even being mindful of it. We are doing it without being conscious of our specific behavior, because that is something that we need to do, right? A lot of us believe it is our responsibility to get other people through their shit, to get other people through their fuck ups. Let me tell you something real quick. It is not your responsibility to help someone get through their fuck ups. It is not your responsibility to help someone get through their shit. It is not your responsibility to pull someone out of the mud, especially if they a grown ass adult. Not a grown adult, but a grown ass adult. It is not your responsibility to do it. It is not your responsibility to be doing any of that. And you have to understand your opinions and your opinions. Your beliefs should be strong. Your values should be strong. But don't allow them and don't let them be so strong to where you're putting them on other people, because now you're just going to push people away. right? We have to understand that a lot of the times we get disrespected by this because of the emotions that we tie on that specific situation, right? Our opinions are based upon our emotions. They're rarely based upon facts, but our opinions are based upon emotions and how tight we tie them to that situation, right? Didier cares a lot about, this whole coronavirus thing and the fact that they're shutting everything down. So because he's emotionally tied to it, he's on it. Like, everybody can't do nothing. And he's not out here saying people are retarded and shouldn't be wearing masks and all these other things, but he's just like, nah, people are dumb. But at the same token, he's not trying to push shit stuff on other people, but he be on the internet trying to go back and forth with people, trying to tell people.
I ask questions, and then it comes back and forth.
Dieter said he asks questions, and then it comes back and forth. So you invite the problems. That's what you're saying, Dieter. You put it out there so that's a petty move, because you put it out there, you put like a bait out there for people to grab. Like, yo, I'm going to say Donald Trump is the best president out there, and then people are going to bite it. And now you're just going to go ham because you wanted it to.
They share something, and I question it. And that's
You want to turn the mic on, Diddy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because there you go. Just turn this. You don't got to put the headphones on. Just the mic is on.
Testing.
Say what you got to say.
So I don't like go in there with like, okay, I already know what I'm about to say when they share like a story related to like COVID or whatever like that. So what happens is I go in there, believe it or not, with the empty mind, because if I already know what I'm gonna say in my side, then there's really no point. So I go in there and I ask a question. Well, what do you mean by that? Did you know that this happened and that happened? And then it turns into.
But why does the other person's opinion matter?
No, it doesn't matter. I ask a question because maybe they know something I don't. As hard it may be to believe, I go in there with the empty mind of not knowing anything. And if I ask a question, I want them to, try to explain the best they can.
And the reason why Diddy is speaking about this is important is how much energy we put into things that we can't change. How much energy we put into people's opinions on a specific subject. How much energy we put into someone else's opinion just because their opinion or perspective may be a little different from mine, right? I know this Didier does that a lot. Like, he doesn't purposely try to poke at people to see, like, let me see whatever. But he always put the bait out there from what I see. You put the bait out there to see if people bite it, just so I can have the conversation. The conversation is important to you, not more so like I need to change people's perspective on it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not about changing the perspective.
It's the conversation that you like having.
And I think, I heard this somewhere, and it's like I guess when it comes to engaging with them or talking to them about whatever, it goes into like I go in there with working with what they don't know. And that's when I believe people get a little bit more frustrated when they know that they don't know. And then, that kind of feels insulting to them because, hey, I know what I'm talking about. And it becomes a little bit.
But it's also not your responsibility to tell someone what they don't know. Like, a lot of the times, a lot of us, what we have to understand many times is it's really not my responsibility to do anything for you. It's not my responsibility to enlighten you. It's not my responsibility to make sure to pull you out the mud. It's not my responsibility to make sure you dope. And I think a lot of the times we take on the responsibility without even asking that person, will they be okay with me taking on the responsibility? Right? You coming over here helping me, and I don't even want your help. You just doing it just because that's just you. And it's like, no, we have to allow people to fuck up. We have to allow people to live their life. We have to let people be great in whatever area they're being great in. And the fact that we put all of the energy into people because their perspective or their behavior is a little bit different from mine, or maybe a little bit different from yours, we allow that to disrupt our lives. Right? And this has been extremely big for me because I see people who wear masks get mad at the people who are not wearing masks. And it's like, I understand on one point that, hey, you may feel as if that person isn't doing their part, slowing the spread, doing whatever they can do to assist with the whole little issue. But the thing is, it's just like you're focused on the wrong thing. A lot of us are focused on the wrong thing. A lot of us need to just be purely focused on ourselves. None of us are at that place to where we just need to be worried about ourselves. When we get too caught up in what the next person doing, oh, that person doesn't wear a mask, or that person isn't 6 feet away from me, or that person is driving too fast, or I don't like the way this person is doing this, so I need to call the police. Like, when you're too focused on everything, you're not being mindful of where you're at. You're not being mindful of your own fuck-ups. You're not being mindful of how stupid you may possibly look when you're doing XYZ, right? My biggest thing I want everyone to take from this is to understand that, like, yo, let people live their life. Regardless, if their life may be a contradiction to your belief, if their life may be completely opposite of your mindset, your values, your principle, as long as they're not doing anything to directly disrespect you, affect you in any sort of way, let people live. We got to get out of that responsibility mindset that it is my responsibility to control, not really to control, but to assist you or to enlighten you or to tell you that you are doing things the wrong way. It's not that they're doing things the wrong way, they're just not doing things your way. And that's important. Everyone doesn't have to do things your way. Everyone is going to move according to their own rhythm. Everyone is going to move according to their own beat. You do not need to go ahead and try to change their rhythm. It is not your responsibility to try to change their beat. At the end of the day, you're going to be the one who looks dumb. Okay? So the one thing I want everyone to take away from this, just let people live, yo. Shift the focus to yourself. Shift the focus to yourself and let people live. Because the way someone else has lived their life isn't going to affect you. And your perspective on life is completely irrelevant to what they have going on. All right? So the question I want everyone to take away is, how are you living for yourself? Right? How are you living for yourself within these specific, I guess, times? I hate saying like that shit, like these times. How are you living for yourself? How are you living for yourself? So, to all those people who are listening and tuning in and all that good stuff, good looking. Let people live, y'all. Let people be. Like, please, let people be. Don't be angry at them because they want to do things a little bit differently from you. Don't try to force them to live a life according to the way you see life. Don't do that. It says more about you. It says how much you are either trying to run away from your life. It says how much you are trying to get value, right? It says that you believe that you are not being accepted. It says that you want some attention. It says that you believe that your opinions are entitled. You are entitled to certain things when that may not be the case. Shit, it probably ain't the case at all. Alright, so let people live, man. Good looking to all those people you listen to this today, tomorrow, next week, next year. If you listen to this when you're on Mars, I don't know. Whenever you listen to this, good looking. But never forget, y'all, ain't no wealth without your mental health. So please stay blessed. Take care of yourself. Be great, y'all. Peace.